Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PS3 review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Castlevania Lords of Shadow, which if you've never played it before, it's basically an action adventure type thing, but with a bit of an RPG in there as well. It basically takes from, I suppose, 5 different games. It plays a bit like the old 2D side-scrolling Vanias, it plays a bit like the RPG Vanias, it plays a bit like God of War or Ninja Gaiden, that style of combat, it plays a bit like Uncharted because it's got that sort of exploration, and the bosses are a bit like Shadow of the Colossus. Overall, they combine together to make one hell of a game, at least I think so. So, usual rules apply. There's going to be like no spoilers in this. I'm pretty much sticking to the first chapter. There's 12 overall, just thought I'd get that in there. But I'm going to be sticking to the first chapter and early upgrades and that, so that way I'm not spoiling anything. So, let's just cut into the gameplay, because the configurations, just to view your configuration, the extras allow you to switch things on to make it more of an RPG. I'll have to explain that when it's on the screen though, and you can view artwork and that. So anyway, let's cut into the game. So, basically, I've started off on one of the missions where you're, well, riding a mount. You can ride all sorts of things throughout the game. You can get on giant spiders and other cool things like that, and just basically each of them have different abilities and attacks, and you just have to, well, learn how to use them and when to use them. The RPG stuff that I'm on about is things like you can have it so it shows up what experience you get when you kill an enemy, it shows up what hit points you're taking off when you attack an enemy. It's not doing it now because I'm on a different section, but as soon as I fight things properly it will show it, because I personally prefer having them on. I think it makes the game easier. I think it allows you to use more strategy so you know what attacks aren't working on enemies anymore. You can bring up their health bars, your health bars, so you can have everything viewable right dead easy without having to look to the top left of the screen, then check on your magic on the bottom right. You can have it also it appears where your character is, so it's just basically a simpler way of playing the game. So, might as well mention the combat, seeing as I've just been doing a bit of it and you've seen it. You can activate 2 different magic bars throughout the game, but you have to unlock them, and pretty much all of your abilities, to be fair, you have to unlock. And when you get them or how you get them, it depends on how good you are at exploring, because a lot of the stuff can only be found through heavy exploration. Basically, there's not one path through a level, there's one path to complete the level, I should probably correct myself there, but there's loads of different areas that you have to explore, and that's where basically the Uncharted style of gameplay comes in. You're climbing on ledges, you're using your cross, which, the cross is a bit of a complicated one to explain. It is just quite simply a cross that happens to also be a whip. That's also something that allows you to saw through objects. That's also something that allows you to latch onto enemies and latch onto hooks and chains and that. It's one of those. Your cross is pretty much everything. So it works well having the cross be everything, and it works well playing the game like that, so I don't really have a problem with it. But as I was saying, you've got the exploration part of jumping around, so then that way you have to find things. So basically you're on the lookout mainly for dead bodies, because dead bodies quite often have what you're looking for, whether it be a gemstone that allows you to, after you collect 5, increase your health bar, or either magic bar, or just stuff like that. So anyway, back to the combat. While it's on the screen, the bar at the bottom is a focus meter, and when you fill it up by not getting hit and by doing fancy attacks, it allows you to get neutral orbs out of the enemy so much easier. I understand you probably don't know what they are, which is why I'm going to now explain. Neutral orbs are basically little yellow things, and you can collect them to go towards your magic to fill it up. So, as you've got 2 magic bars, it works in a simple way. You can push L3 to put them into your light magic, you can push R3 to put them into your shadow magic, or you can push both buttons and it'll share them between. So anyway, again, while it's on the screen, I might as well mention the health item over here. Basically you can push R2 on it and it'll give you health. It's a good way of getting it, but as they're not all over the place, you have to find other ways of getting health, and this is where your magic comes in. But as this is the end of a level, I'll continue on the next level. But before I do, I might as well mention that the cutscenes in the game are magnificent, seeing as there's one on now. The voice acting's fantastic. It's done by some really good actors like Robert Carlyle and Patrick Stewart. He's also the narrator, Patrick Stewart, which is a good thing, because I personally think he's got a fantastic narrator voice. But if at any point you decide I'm not enjoying this cutscene or anything, you can just hit start and skip it. So anyway, as I say, on to the next level, and I'll talk about the magic bars. So anyway, as I've already mentioned, you've got light magic and shadow magic. Light magic basically allows you to gain health back. You can hit the L1 button because the pad's pretty much split up between light and dark. You've got L3s to put it into light magic, as I see it, and then the L1 button activates it, and then you've got R3 and R1 to do the other. And your light magic, basically when you're using it, you go blue like this, and when you attack your enemies you can get some health back, so it's a very useful thing. Your shadow magic just makes you more of a badass than you were before. It really does beef up your attack power, and it, just like the magic bars, add so much strategy to the combat, it's unbelievable, because it is a case of constantly swapping between the two of them when you need health or when you need more power, or just not using them at all because you currently don't need them. You've as you've probably already seen, got a whole heap of attacks, and it is pretty much like God of War stuff. You can get experience for killing the enemies, as I'm pretty sure I've already mentioned. Then you can go and buy new attacks or new powers and things like that in the options menu by hitting select. You can also get some secondary weapons like daggers and that, and you can get explosive daggers, which are pretty cool. But I'm hoping to be able to show you, excellent, those white circles, because that's what makes the combat unlike any other game, really. Because when you get grabbed by an enemy, or when you're grabbing an enemy, you've got these circles up here, and basically you've got to wait until both the circles are together, or one circle's inside the other one, to push a button, and then it allows you to go on to the next one. And killing some bosses like this can be a case of you get 3 or 4 of these circle sections in a row, and then if you pass them, obviously you kill the bad guy. If you fail, then like that there, you either die or you just lose a hell of a lot of health. As you might have noticed from me dying there though, it goes on to something else that I was going to mention. The checkpoints in the game. The checkpoints are done well. They're not... Well, it sounds stupid to say they're not all over the place, because there are quite a few checkpoints in the levels, but they don't make the game easy. The game is standard Castlevania difficulty, meaning it's rock hard. You will get your arse handed to you on more than one occasion. There will be sections where you'll die and die and die and die and die. You can change the difficulty though, so if you're not a fan of the hard gameplay, you can make it easier for you, but even then it's still got some challenge to it, which I'm personally happy with, and I'm loving the fact that I'm dying, because it's just one of those. I hate playing games where they beat them for me. So, I've pretty much mentioned everything there is to do with the combat, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned everything to do with the exploration in the game. How, as I say, just to basically recap, it's like Uncharted. There's more than one path throughout the levels. There's only one path that actually gets you to the end of level, but you just have to search all over the place to find hidden items and hidden powers and things like that. And that's where the replayability comes in, because once you beat a level, you can go back to other levels with new powers, and it's done quite well actually, because for example, you don't have magic at the start of the game, so when you kill the enemies, nothing happened. But once you do get magic and you go back to those early levels, when you kill the enemies, the orbs come out to allow you to continue using magic. So it's almost like there's a bit of Metroid in there, where you, as I say, go back to earlier levels with new powers, and you just try and hunt for things and find new abilities and find new crystals that you can collect, just pretty much again like God of War, where you can collect them to increase your health bar, to increase your magic bars. So it's just one of those things. There's exploration all over the place, and again that adds some replayability. But that's not the only thing that adds replayability. You then also get some trials, which, if you look in the top right corner of my screen, there is a skull symbol with a bit of a helmet on it. And basically, the trial on this level is to kill 50 goblins, which may sound easy, but the goblins are all over the place, and it's a case of finding enough to actually kill 50. And the trials can be things like keep the humans alive and just things like that. So again, the trials add replayability because you only get them once you beat a level, and a lot of the time I do find myself beating a level and then going straight back onto that level to do the trial and to do things while they're fresh in my head. As you might have noticed though, I'm next to a glowing statue, so this is something else I can mention. There's statues that replenish your health, there's statues that replenish your magic, and again, as I say, basically that's where you've also got the magic that comes in, because the statues aren't all over the place, and, well, you can use your light magic to get your energy. I'm pretty sure as I've said that, I've just realised I've repeated myself, and all I can do is apologise. There is so much to say about this game that I'm struggling to remember with myself just what I have said and what I haven't said. Two things I know I haven't said, though, are going to both require cuts, so I'm going to cut into one of them now. Right then, as it's fresh in my mind, I might as well mention that one of the useful features is that when you actually switch the game off, you can switch it off in the middle of a level and it doesn't matter, it'll put you back up to your newest checkpoint, and that's great for replaying levels if you put it on and you realise you don't have the time. It's also really useful that you can just hit the start button and go to your world map and go from level to level to level in the just while hitting the world map there. You don't have to exit a level to go into another level, you can just go straight to that level, which is really cool, and it's useful again for going to old levels to find stuff. So, the element of gameplay that I, well, wanted to mention that I haven't yet. There are some puzzles in the game. So this puzzle here is pretty simple. I've got 4 symbols over there on the right, and I've got to work out what the missing symbol is. And, well, there's only 5 symbols, so basically by putting the 4 in order, I know fine well that the missing symbol's that one there. So, anyway, that's basically one of the light puzzles. There are heavier puzzles in the game, and one of them's pretty much in the same level, so I'm just going to show this off now. So, this is the more advanced puzzle. I've basically got 3 rings that I've got to move to make the path down to the bottom, and every time I make a move the guillotine goes closer to the damsel in distress, and, well, I've just got to do it before the guillotine cuts through her. You can actually do it in 5 moves, which I'm not going to show the solution, I'm just going to show basically what happens. So like if you move one there, another ring moves as well, and you've got to work out which rings to move when to make the path. So let's cut into the final thing I want to show off, which is basically the Shadow of Colossus style bosses. So, just while I'm waiting to fight the boss, I'll mention something very quickly that I wanted to mention. I've already said when you beat levels, etc., replayability and that. Well, one of the things that does happen, it brings up a percentage meter of how much of the level you've actually beat, so you know if you have to go back, you know how much pretty much is there to actually go back to, and it's just one of those, it's really cool. The levels all add up to then see how much you've actually beat of the chapter, and again it's just a nice way of knowing which places you have to go back to, so it's nice that it kind of tells you without telling you, if you know what I mean, because it doesn't give you the locations or anything, it just says, you've missed stuff here, you want to come back here. Trust me on this, you want to come back here, and it just works really well. Pretty much everything about the game works really well, and I'd be so close to saying that it was perfection, but then you see the camera. It is, as far as I'm concerned, the only downside to this game. The camera is completely locked, you cannot move it at all on the sections where you have to do Uncharted style stuff, jumping from ledge to ledge, which you'll see in a moment because I kind of have to do it for the boss. Then it is very, very awkward because you can't move the camera, as I say, to look to where you next need to leap. Some sections it's completely obscured. It doesn't ruin the game or anything like that, and the parts can be done again with just a little bit of trial and error because of the checkpoint system, but it really is such a shame because the game is practically perfect, and then you've got that camera which doesn't half put you off, and as I say, it's just something that with a little bit of work that could have made the game perfect. So maybe that's where the sequel comes in, because that's pretty much the biggest problem now. This game has delivered to me everything I have wanted in a Castlevania game for a long, long time in this genre, like in the 3D genre, because as anyone who's a Castlevania fan knows, the other 3D games have been beyond crap. I've absolutely hated them. They've had faulty cameras, even worse than this one. They've had faulty combat systems, things like that. So this is what I've been after now for over 10 years, and I could practically cry at how good it is, because even the camera, as I say, doesn't ruin the game. It is just an epic ride, and it's something that you've got to pick up. Even if you don't like Castlevania games normally, even if you only like adventure games, then it's something that you've got to pick up and have a go. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up.